You remember this line, right? Welcome, Madridistas. How are you doing? Well, now we're coming back to it. Because before that, to talk about Paris Saint-Germain as a finalist, I want to say a couple of things here. Even if the penalty was called, Paris Saint-Germain would have advanced. I saw a Bayern Munich, not ineffective, but a bit toothless. Against a team that defends very well, Paris Saint-Germain. They all work like animals. And let's go back to Luis Enrique's phrase that I will control all the players without exception. He comes out there with his jaw clenched, of course. Who was he referring to? Oh, and on top of that, this had to happen this week. Paris Saint-Germain's second consecutive final. And if God doesn't intervene, they're going to win their second consecutive final. That's something only Real Madrid has done. And then we did it a third time in 2016, 2017, and 2018. And these guys look like they're going to make history because, hey, look, in the end, it's a really well-drilled team. And they got rid of a player there who, according to their coach, were not making anything up. He was a bit of a nuisance because he moved wherever he wanted, and that messed up the coach's plans a little. I'm showing you this because of the handball. Honestly, let's see, about Nuno Mendes. That handball, they were asking for a second yellow card and all that. I don't think so. I don't think that's a yellow card because the guy isn't going to deliberately handle the ball. I don't think that's the case. Here's something else. The referee was Portuguese and didn't ignore Nuno Mendes' handball. He called it, but didn't give a yellow card, or so they say. I don't really believe that either, but both are Portuguese, right? Sorry, for me, this is a handball because what's the difference? Is that the standard? What's the standard? Let's see. They say, hey, it's a clearance. He can't move his arm. Hey, excuse me. If that hits his arm, he clears it to the other guy next to him, and it hits his arm, and his arm is a little bit away from his body. All right? But when you make yourself bigger, people might say, no, he's making himself bigger. Sure, he's in position, but the ball comes at him suddenly. But what about rebounds? Because this is a clearance from his teammate, close, but not that close, right? Since it's head on, since we see it head on, it looks like it's really close, but it wasn't that close, you know? Joao Neves, it wasn't that close. But sorry, for it to bounce off your body and then hit your arm, that seems even more uncontrollable to me than this. Much more. And those, in theory, are handballs. Well, just some of them, the ones they feel like calling handballs. Because then this whole thing comes in that's perfect for bending the rules, which is the interpretations, and this technical language they've invented in refereeing. Of course, to justify the shady things they do, right? But you say here, why here? Sorry. To understand areas, right? But wait, if it was nothing else, they win frontalmente, porque todo se acerca. But they're not that close. Here, Joao Neves has his arms down and only raises them when he sees the ball coming. He's not moving his arm away. It's not due to closeness or poor guy, because it came off his teammate's clearance. But if that's what he does, let's see. He's trying to turn his face away because he doesn't want to get hit in the face. And so his arm ends up there. Well, it's just that all handballs, most of them are involuntary, but not just because they're involuntary. It doesn't have to be a punishable handball inside the box. So to me, this seems like, look at the movement the guy makes. I have a friend who's a Bayern fan who was really outraged, but what is this? Every time it's something different. What does the rule say? It says something different every time. I'm going to tell the Bayern guys, though I haven't told my friend this, that at the end, the referee was just waiting to blow the final whistle. Come on, give Bayern another minute. Marquinhos was on the ground for more than 30 seconds, and Bayern had scored a goal, which means that's another 30 seconds. Man, give them no, he was just waiting to blow the final whistle, which was suspicious. But what happened with Camavinga was even more so. So let them suffer for a while, let them suffer for a bit, as always. In life, we look for a bit, we try to find the lesser evil or adjust things to what we want. Well, he says, yes, but look, it's not so bad that Bayern got robbed a little. And what else? And then, well, maybe in the final, we'll see if PSG get robbed and then everyone will be happy, right? And Arsenal wins it, who have never won one in their life, and they're the ones we dislike the least, because that's what it comes down to, right? Let the team we dislike the least win the Champions League. That's about it. Of course, thinking back to the last match, there was Davies' handball. Was that really his? in which, of course, you say to yourself, hey, this wasn't it. It was that pass from Dembele. And yes, they called Davies for handball, the Bayern player, right? And when you compare it to this one, you say, well, if you called that handball, why not this one? I mean, I insist, from this position of Joao Neves to this one, he's clearly protecting himself. Of course he is. I mean, damn, it's a very human gesture, yes. But the arm goes to the ball to protect himself, yes. And so what? And so what? Anyway, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. To me, it seems like a really blatant handball. But anyway, that said, now let's talk about Mbappé and Luis Enrique. This match wasn't as nice as the first leg, was it? By the way, don't go anywhere because we're going to talk about the Valverde Tchouaméni thing. I mean, I'm just starting to talk about this because it's the last thing, okay? But the Valverde Tchouaméni thing, what Valverdicho said to many, that's just to wrap up the circus. And I would go out to Camp Nou with a cone on my head and with a trumpet and playing the trumpet. Va, 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 va. He always recorded his heart. That's it. Going out to Camp Nou like that, since we need to put the cherry on top somehow. Well, now we're talking about Madrid, but I mean, not as good a match as last week, but we've seen some things from Cabalas Kelly to this one and from Luis Diaz, right? What the Colombian is doing is outrageous. His head might be somewhere else, whatever you want to say. But what about those two wingers? Left-footed, playing on the opposite side, and someone might say, damn, I'd swap him for Vinny, but you know what? Vinny in his prime has already given us 2 Champions Leagues, and we already know what Vinny in his prime is like, and I still wouldn't swap him for these guys. But even Vinny, now the one who scored 2 goals the other day, the level of these two is just incredible, really incredible. And then Olise hasn't been as good as he was against Madrid, or like the other day when he also wasn't that great. And what I have seen is a Paris Saint-Germain side that is absolutely incredible in terms of how they work for each other. I mean, real defensive commitment, a very compact block, but also they press high, they go on the attack. I mean, it's a very powerful and complete team. And yes, they came to mess up European football. Back in the day, that methodology didn't work for them because it focused too much on star. They signed this crazy guy, Luis Enrique, and they do it with a lot of money too, because at the end of the day, they signed him last winter, remember? And a lot of these footballers, they've signed them by just throwing money at them. But they were also quick with Vitinha, quick with Nuno Mendes, quick with this Joao Neves guy who's really good. Hey, Fabian. Well, look, Fabian, back in the day, Madrid could have signed him, but they were quicker, they were faster. Fabian was already at Napoli, and similar signings aren't made by Madrid. Why doesn't Madrid make those deals? And well, we don't know why, because he's Spanish and stands out in Spain and all that. But anyway, let's just let him go. The same thing will happen with this John Martin, the center back from Real Sociedad. Barca will sign him, or he'll go somewhere else, and then PSG will end up signing him. Anyway, well, like I said, it's not a coincidence. I really don't think it's a coincidence anymore. And it's something we just have to deal with. Hey, maybe in a year we'll be talking about something different, right? But reality is reality. Numbers are numbers. And the fact is that Mbappé left PSG. It's true they played in a final once, right? Against Bayern Munich. And they lost. And they also played a couple of semifinals or something like that, right? With Kylian Mbappé, but Luis Enrique already said this. When was it? Last year? Well, last year, no, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he says, because the fact of having a player, wait, I think there's some music here, but anyway, who moved wherever he wanted. It implies that there are game situations that I don't control. And he's super controlling, right? But of course, you say, hey, he's super controlling, but his teams don't do badly. And actually, the only team he did badly with was the Spanish national team, damn it. He says he'll control them all next year. I mean, that jaw, man. I had a friend who used to call him Jaws when they were playing in Madrid. He had 90 principles, every single one without exception. And he started winning matches and Champions League titles there. And oh my God. Well, hey, guys, we have what we have. And what we've had today is this, the progress. Marca before people. The Jaws thing, Marca, we already know what it is. We know what it does. In the Negrera case, do you know about the athletes? And if you're living in that parallel universe of no, everything the press says is a lie, I'll tell you the same thing again. some things might be made up, but when a lot of reports line up, I'm sorry, but no. We'll need to discuss what's happening at Real Madrid this year, which is truly terrible and only getting worse. My wish is not for Mourinho to come, for an ogre to come. Now I'll show you one just for fun, wishing for the worst to come here so that they'll straighten these guys out. Marca reported today on the fight involving Tchouaméni. Just arguments, no physical altercation, but it nearly escalated. And then Ramon said that that's exactly what happened and that it was especially unpleasant. But anyway, first let's get to the information.
Just a moment.
There's no sound here. Why isn't there any volume here? Volume here? Well, there's no volume, right? I used to have volume before on the green one.
Now.
It's coming through my left earphone. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but well, wait, come on.
A new incident involving a teammate has now come to light. Valverde and Aurelian Tchouaméni almost came to blows during the last training session that took place in Valdebebas. As a result of a play during the game, both players confronted each other and their teammates had to step in. A situation that continued in the locker room and only serves to show that Real Madrid is going through one of its worst internal moments in recent times. With no real chances for any title, and with the Clásico just around the corner where Barcelona, if they earn just 1 point, would be crowned league champions, Real Madrid is facing a very complicated end to the season. We'll see how the situation ends for Real Madrid, we'll see how things turn out for the team coached by Álvaro Arbeloa, and whether more controversies arise between now and the end of the year.
By the end of the year, by the end of the season, we could finish the week. What happened Sunday night could be handing the title to Barca, and then there would still be 3 matches left. 3 matches. In Seville, where they'll be fighting for their lives, they'll come at us hard, especially if Vinicius plays. As if we needed anything else. Ramon said that the episode, he says, wasn't just another incident from what I've been told, not the usual thing where 2 teammates get upset with each other. No, he says, it wasn't just another incident. It has been especially unpleasant. Let the season end already, says Ramon. And you know what, guys? This just makes me want even more to put a guy like this on the Real Madrid bench. Do you remember the movie?
I'm Artillery Sergeant Haig.
There it is. Look at what I did now.
I've drunk more beer, pissed more blood, screwed more women, and crushed more balls. All of you together, assholes.
Yeah, that's it. And throw out those speakers over there, turn off the music, throw them out and break them, and don't let them use them again. Today, they mentioned that music was playing in the Paris Saint-Germain locker room during yesterday's training. Of course, it's a team that's already in sync, but what needs to be done at Real Madrid is to turn everything around. Do a spectacular reset. And we need a Clint Eastwood type of guy who doesn't give a damn and whips them into shape. See those guys in the short swimsuits back there? They could be Bellingham, Vinicius, and Mbappé. Here are the 3, with Tchouaméni and Valverde nearby. Anyway, what a mess. Hope everything goes well for you. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one.